Hi, and welcome to the first podcast for Sweet Friend Ministries. My name's Anita.
And I'm Debbie.
And really, we're just using this channel. Well, I feel like God's using this channel to encourage and empower women to glorify God in this day and age. And we just wanted to share our lives, share how God's moving in our lives. And the podcast really came about initially for your channel, which is Join Valor.
Subscribe, Join Valor Life. That's my channel. So we've been friends for a good while. We've been friends for a little over 5 years or 5 years. And every time we get together, we always have great conversation, very insightful, and we're always bouncing ideas back and forth. And so Anita had the idea of maybe recording ourselves, just having natural conversation, podcast style, and including them into my existing channel. And so I was like, oh, that's a great idea. But somehow, even after we recorded, it just didn't feel right. Like something made me, that wasn't an easy. I knew God wanted us to do this. I felt a strong conviction that it needed to happen. And I had so much resistance from the enemy editing the video that I knew that great things were gonna come out of it. So I was like, no, not today, Satan.
Not today.
It's gonna happen. But I didn't feel it needed. I just felt uneasy of it being put into the Join Valor Life channel. And so, but I just went with it and we posted it there, and and that's fine. And then I woke up in the middle of the night, like maybe
it was like 3:00 in the morning because I received a text from her and she was telling me, I have an idea about where this podcast should go. Make sure I'm just telling you this so you can remind me during
when I wake up.
Yes, when she wakes up. And I was like, when I saw it the next morning, I was like, why is she awake at 3:00 in the morning? And I'm like,
and she normally wakes up early, like 5 in the morning.
5:30.
Yeah, because she does early morning prayer. And so she knew that I wasn't going to be awake when she woke up, but I needed to text her because then I would forget.
Yes.
And so when I woke up, I felt really strong that God was telling me that the podcast, that it didn't belong in the other channel, that it really needed to be its own thing. But the word that kept just in like almost highlighting in my mind was ministry. Like it needed to be a ministry. But also I felt very strong that not a ministry led by me. And and those of you that know us, I'm usually the take charge, the person in charge, or the person that leads, and I'm more comfortable being in front of the crowd and leading a class or something like that.
We call it to be a Debbie, because you're take charge, you're just following through, you're leading, you have no hesitation. So everybody should have a Debbie, and we should all be Debbies in our lives.
Okay. And Anita, she's more introvert, she's more quiet, more behind the scenes. She does a lot, but she doesn't like to be the face of it. Yeah. But I just felt God telling me, Anita, and that it needed to be a ministry. And so and it was so clear. The message was so clear. And so that's why I was like, well, let me text her. And I know it wasn't like regular business hours.
Yeah.
So I sent her the text message. And so the next day she's been fasting. So she's been doing the 21 days of.
So our church is doing 21 days of fasting and prayer. And I actually had 2 focused prayers during this month. And so I had been fasting, and it had only been like a week that I had started fasting. And like one of my focused prayers was really for clarity for my future and what God wanted me to do, and where like the next steps that he wants me to take. And so for this revelation to come during this time, like when she finally shared what it was, because it was not until the next morning, like 9 or 10, that she sent me the text message of what it was. And I was just kind of blown away and a little freaked out. I'm not going to lie, because, you know, like she was mentioning, I'm not the most comfortable leading. That's not in my natural state. Like, I'm more very shy and reserved, and I'd rather just follow. And it's where I'm comfortable at. And so when she sent me all of that, I was just a little overwhelmed, and I was just kind of like, what? Are you sure? And I was just like,
well, but the old Anita would have said no right away.
Yes.
And she would have just like stopped me. Like, no, not me. You, not me. But the new Anita, because
I've been on a journey.
She's on a journey.
God has taken me on a journey. He has really brought me from a far place a couple years ago. Because she's
purposely praying, right? Or she's being intentional on what she's praying for. She's praying for clarity. And obviously, if that's what you're praying for, then you have to expect an answer. And I didn't
think it was going to be so soon, though.
But I didn't know what she was fasting for, and I didn't know what she was praying. I didn't know. I mean, I knew she was doing it, but I didn't know what. I mean, I'm not having those conversations with her. She's having those conversations with God. And so everything was just connected, I guess you can say. And so then
divine intervention.
Right. And so she was like, okay, well, what do I need to do? And so I was like, well, I guess for starters, think of a name, you know?
Yes.
And I said, and you know, because my mind goes like let's go far.
She goes 0 to like 1,000.
I think big.
And I'm like barely step 2. And she's
so if God's saying ministry, I'm thinking like website, YouTube channel, t-shirts. I'm thinking, you know, a nonprofit, having donors, you know, conferences. Like, I'm thinking like...
And I'm over here like, wait, I thought we were just a podcast.
Right. And so I told her, well, you know, I mean, I'm thinking big, like, let's think like what it can be. And I said, so think of a name, and I'm going to let that be you, like it's your baby. And so then she came up with a name.
Yes. And so when she told me that, I was like, okay, let me think of a name. What can be the name? And really, I was trying to think of how my relationship with the Lord is and what has really evolved and how I see him as. And, you know, he is our Father. He is our God. He is our healer, provider. He's all those things, but he's also like my best friend. Like, I really have discovered a relationship with the Lord that is a friendship. And really, it's a sweet friendship. And then actually when I was looking up the word for sweet, so the definition for sweet as an adjective is having the pleasant taste characteristic of sugar or honey, not salty, sour, or bitter. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, yes. He's my sweet friend. I'm like, that's exactly what he is, because we're not supposed to be salty or bitter. That God just brings us a peace and a joy, and really that we're sweet to others and we're kind and we're loving. And so out of that, actually, that's how I discovered the Bible verse that kind of it's all based off, which is Proverbs 16:24. Gracious words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. And so it kind of just all came together. It was just like, I don't know, it just all clicked. And then God was just like here you go.
All she needed was that little bit of encouragement of me telling her, this needs to be your ministry. And from that, it went to, she came up with a name easily.
Yeah.
She easily found a scripture, you know, to go with it. And so then I told her, okay, well, let's find if a website's available. And so the website domain was available. And then the email, the Google email was available. And then like the YouTube channel was available. And so it was all confirmation that it was the direction that she needed to start on. And so of course we're in the beginning stages.
Yes.
So we hope that you guys follow this journey. You're seeing it from the beginning.
The very beginning.
The very beginning. And so my vision, like I said, my vision is always huge. And so I hope that you guys join us and you see as the channel grows, as the ministry grows, hopefully you'll see us wearing the t-shirts and going out and, maybe doing street church and, women's conferences. And I mean, I don't know, you may even like be a guest speaker. I don't know.
Okay, let's slow down.
I mean, we don't really know what the direction is. What we do know is, Sweet Friend Ministries, of course, we want to encourage and help women. We want to encourage everyone, but our focus is women to have that relationship with God, but also through that have relationships with each other.
Yeah.
And so we just hope that we're really excited.
Yes, we're really excited. Even today we're just brainstorming about some of the things that are going to be happening on this channel. So it'd be, apart from just podcasts, we're also going to be sharing testimonies, maybe each of our own testimonies of other women and what God's doing in their lives. We want to be sharing. I do write devotionals, which will be on the website. Yeah. Probably sharing the devotionals here as well. We're going to also be focusing on missions and speaking to missionaries and those who have their own missions and
ministries.
And ministries. Yeah. We're also going to be, like she was mentioning, encouragement. So we hope to encourage women in whatever stage and whatever they're going through. We'll be talking about different topics. And so, I don't know, I'm really excited for what the Lord's doing. And I really hope that this could be really a light for you guys, and that it's, there's some dark things that we're living through right now. And so I really hope it brings light and it brings encouragement, that you feel God's peace and God's love and His sweet friendship through it all.
Yeah, so make sure you subscribe. And if you have any ideas or any suggestions or people that you think we should have as guest speakers, in our podcast, put them in the comments below. We would love to hear what your input is, because you guys, we're at the beginning, so we're open to ideas and suggestions. So stay tuned. Bye.